what's up? It's me, Buffalo Staple, man. I just came home from work. I'm about to review this new Kevin Abstract album, bro. But I'm not trying to brag. I just came home from work. And at work today, I got this like pink tick on my lanyard. I got a little pink tick right there. I ain't trying to brag or nothing, but you know, I mean, have you got a pink tick on your lanyard? I didn't think so. I've been digesting Arizona Baby, the latest solo effort from Brockhampton member Kevin Abstract, and I've come to the conclusion that it's a bit fucking annoying. In my opinion, Kevin Abstract is one of the most creative and inspiring human beings breathing right now. I want the guy to flourish. I want him to make great songs. I think his work in his boy band Brockhampton has been pretty consistently entertaining since they blew up with Saturation 1. And on top of that, I would even go as far as to say that I fucking love his previous solo album, American Boyfriend. It's really stripped back. It has so much punch to it. I think it's a genuinely super compelling listen, but Arizona Baby is by comparison a lot more scattered and messy in my opinion. Lyrically, as you would probably expect if you know anything about Kevin Abstract as a human being, as a person, as an artist, he dives into himself more so than anything on this album. Whether it be his upbringing, his sexuality, his personality, his general outlook on life as a whole. There are moments like Corpus Christi where he gets particularly very confessional about how he feels like he's negatively impacted the people around him and how that's kind of eating away at him mentally. There are also a few pretty passionate love ballads in the forms of songs like Peach and Baby Boy, which I think are pretty likable, I suppose. But in my opinion, the kind of erratic and distracting production choices on this album sort of detract from the vulnerability that I feel like should be here to make these songs as impactful as they could be, as they were on American Boyfriend. Like, I think the track Mississippi would have had the chance to be something pretty evocative and interesting if it wasn't just toppled with loads of just really awkward, clumsy auto-tune melodies that just don't hit remotely, and it just constantly switches one out for another, and it's just such a aimless and empty track with a really redundant beat too. Everything about this song is just super stale and flat to me. The same goes for the song Peach, which has these vocal performances from Bareface and Dominic Fike that to me, whilst not necessarily bad, they're on pitch, they sound really melodically sweet and all that, but again, there's not really much in the way of rawness to me, and it kind of awkwardly contrasts with the deep vocal tone of Kevin's voice too. So the track just ultimately just feels a little bit uncomfortable to me. There are definitely some highlights. I think the production on the song Use Me is pretty bouncy and colorful and bright and nice. I just wish the song generally sort of explored a bit more of its potential, but still, it's definitely a pretty decent thrill for what it is. I think the song Baby Boy is honestly just a total hit, really. I think the way the track sort of just builds and flourishes is really gorgeous. All of the singing is nice. The hook is really anthemic and lovely. The outro is gorgeous. The song builds momentum really effectively. The instrumentation is lavish and full. The song Georgia is also a total highlight for me. I think the hook on that thing is the strongest on the album. I think it's incredibly infectious, and I love the opening verse too, how he talks about like how if he you know opened up about the fact that he liked the dude in the back, he'd probably just get attacked. He also explores this on the track American Problem on the final verse, but to less effective degrees. I think this is the worst fucking track. This track is actually repulsive. Like, the opening 10 seconds are just enough to fucking turn you off. Like, the vocal performance from Kevin is just horrid. It's so over the top on this song. The way he goes in the upper register with his effects is just fucking gross. That one line about how like, oh yeah, they would look at me like I'm a flaming F word. I mean, they didn't say that, but I could just feel it in the room or something. That was just a bit clumsy. It's actually another big problem I have with this album. You know, a lot of it is kind of reliant on how engaged you are with Kevin as a vocalist and lyricist, but unfortunately a lot of the writing on here just comes off really half-assed and clumsy. Corpus Christi is a perfect example of that. Like that moment in the second verse where he name drops Amir and Dom, I feel like that would have been more effective if he didn't have just such awkward lines to present it with. Like, I wonder if Amir think about me, or what he think about me. Like, when I think about me, I barely think about me. Like, I don't know, it's just not that compelling, really. Don't really find these lines too stirring, you know? Just kind of comes off like he wrote it in 30 seconds. I think the track-to-track flow is just basically non-existent. The opening 2 tracks is a very awkward start. Big Wheels just basically feels unfinished, and Joyride is just fucking nuts. Those peppy horns sound really fucking cheap to me, and they do not pair well at all with the break beats. I just think there's never a point where the song establishes much of a comfortable rhythm at all. And again, the vocal effects on this track just come off as unnecessary, and I think the rawness, the vulnerability was way more potent on American Boyfriend. I feel like you could make the argument that the auto-tune and the vocal effects is sort of making his voice sound more fragile and vulnerable in Arizona Baby. Baby, but honestly, with the clumsy writing, distractingly eclectic production, and just kind of over-the-top animated vocal performances, I never really got much of a sense of vulnerability or like emotive power from Arizona Baby. I think the overall album is just a bit of a fucking mess. I'm feeling a 4 out of 10, not big on it. Yeah, this album is a no. It's a no. We do not stand this album. Sorry, Kevin, I love you, but no. Excited for the next Brockhampton record because this did not fulfill me at all. And the rollout for this fucking album was a bloody mess. Jeez, didn't like it, not a fan. Sorry, wasn't for me. Thank you for watching my review. See you on the next one. Bye! Alright, it's the end of the video, which means... Lila. I actually don't know which song to play you. I'll let you choose.
4.
Pick 4? You sure you want to pick 4? Actually, you know what? Not 4. This one?
Yeah.
That's a good one, actually. You know what? That's good. That's a good track you just picked. I think you picked one of the more ideal ones for a situation like this. Okay, Lila, that was Use Me by Kevin Abstract. What can you tell us about that song?
It was quite... It does do a lot of beating, which I like.
A lot of beating. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can agree with that.
I think it's kind of the best song I've heard so far.
Oh, this is the best one? From the ones that I've showed you. This is your favourite. Okay, cool. Alright, that's cool. That's cool.
9 out of 10.
9. It gets a 9 out of 10 from Lila. Ooh. Damn.